Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Parenting in 10 Live. We have not been on in a while, but I'm super excited about my guest today. We're going to talk about behaviors. Why? Because school is now settling in. Now we're starting to get those phone calls. My child is being disruptive. My child's not doing work. They're giving attitudes. We're starting to get those calls. I remember that all too well. But I want to say I'm excited about the show because I want to pay homage to a lot of the single parents out there. And when I say single parents, I'm not just talking about moms and dads, but grandparents, godparents, adoptive parents. You guys are out there doing your thing. I used to be a single parent, so it's really near and dear to me. And so I understand the struggle and how it was to raise a child. So I have my first guest, my guest up here. I'm so excited to have her up here. I want to introduce Miss LaSaundra Shaw Lawrence. So thank you for coming on. So
Hello, everybody.
tell you a little bit about my girl here. She is from Connecticut. Whoop whoop. I have to say I'm a little partial. Why? Because I am from there. Hey. She's a single mom with a talented, beautiful 9-year-old daughter. She's a full-time licensed practitioner nurse. I'm saying that wrong, probably, but LPN. And LaSaundra is all about growth. One thing I love about her is she's always looking to do different things to educate herself, to grow, not just professionally, but personally as well. And one thing I know that I've noticed about her that she always realizes that she has a daughter watching her. And so everything she's doing is to set that generational thing for her. So I love that about you. So Sha, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your show. You know, we go way back, so we know each other a long roads. We've done
Yes.
this single parent thing for a long time together at that, and being each other's
Mhm.
village. Because you know what, being a single parent, you do need that village. So thank you,
Yeah.
and it's always an honor to be here.
I'm excited. So we're going to just jump right into it. So being a single parent can be tough, right? Tell me one challenge that you've had having just being a single parent. Tell me one of your challenges.
Just one.
You mean just
You don't want
one?
more
It's
than
a
one.
whole bunch.
Well, being a single parent, you know, the growth. Oh my goodness. Children grow at different stages, so they have different moods, different attitudes, just different ways of being because they're trying to like learn to be themselves. And you really have to just kind of be like, okay, want to give them some space, how to
Mhm.
do it, how to go about it. So the most challenging is the growth, growing up, learning a child literally every year again, because they're not the same person.
Yeah, you're right. That's one of the things I'm learning with my children because they're hitting the teenage years now. And yeah, it is a whole different world from when they were younger. Now they're starting to understand themselves. They're starting to ask questions. They're starting to discover stuff and dealing with a lot of attitudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I know when,
attitude is yikes.
well, you got a girl. I have boys. So I can only imagine. I think God knew what he was doing because I don't think I could do it.
You see, girls are challenging because sometimes girls are just chit chatty and then sometimes they're just quiet. Like, what's
Hmm.
going on in your world? Oh, nothing, nothing. Their favorite word is nothing. Nothing's
Nothing.
going on,
But it's
nothing, nothing.
something.
It's something. It takes a while for us to get to know what that something is, but
Hmm.
you know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Like you said, they're growing to like know themselves, and sometimes they're not always comfortable just coming out and saying, "Mom, what's this?" or "Why am I feeling like that?" or "What's going on? Why my mood is like that?"
Yeah,
Because they
you
don't
have to
even know
guess.
what's going on.
It's a guessing game. It's a game. It's like I think this
Always.
may be it, and then you're off when you're totally off when you come
And
to them.
then when you think you got it, you
You
don't
don't
got
got
it.
it.
You don't
You
got it
don't.
at all.
Mm-mm. I know one of my challenges when I had Malachi was just his behaviors. He didn't have a father figure. So it was just that was one of my difficult things. And the funniest thing when I met my husband, and I don't know if anyone can contest to this, but I don't think you know this, but he used to sit on the toilet all the time. When I met Earl, he was like, "No." See, these are things that I
Yeah.
need someone because I was like, "Sit down." He's like, "No, that boy ain't sitting down. He got to stand." I'm like, "True, okay." So the
Yeah. And
challenges are real.
you see, like you're like, oh, that's not right. He has to stand up and do this thing. Yeah.
Yes. All
And I
right.
think my
So,
biggest
oh, go
challenge is she's the only child.
Oh, yes.
So that is another challenge that we have to like, yeah. See, you have three, so they're good. They know
Hmm.
how to act around each other. Sometimes she forgets. She's not spoiled. Like, get it out your
She's the
head.
only child.
Yes, from both sides, from me and her dad. So it's kind of
Wow.
like, yeah, it's easier to do for one, but it's like, hey, calm it down, you know?
Hmm.
So that's a
Yeah, that's
challenge.
another challenge, especially if you just have that one child. So, what are some behavior strategies that you can tell some of the parents out there that you've done that's kind of helped you? And I know that you actually was on one of my friends. She has a podcast called Parenting That Kid. You guys check it out.
Yeah.
Ashley Tulliver Lang. She actually
Yes,
had you
yes.
do a guest little appearance or something, and I thought it was just amazing what you said. So please tell them what you had. What was your advice on there? Like what you said. What was one of the strategies you used?
I gave the advice of giving your children space. Just like we like our space, children like their space. And we have to understand that they're human. They're just like us. They don't even know why they don't like themselves half the time. So you got to give them space to figure it out. Give them space to fail, get back up and do it all again. We can't be helicopter parents all the time. We
Hmm.
can't be all up in their business all the time. Yes, be in their business, but give them space.
Yes.
Space enough to just become their own self. I'm so big on it. Sometimes your kid just want to be quiet.
Hmm.
And I don't know if people notice that with their kids. Some kids are more rambunctious than others, but sometimes you even have to give them rambunctious kids some space. Like,
Yeah.
oh, just let them act their own way. Even if they're having a temper tantrum or a meltdown, you don't have to respond to it. Just walk away, let them handle it, let them regroup by themselves. They'll
Hmm.
figure it out. And then you come back later, like, oh, you okay? You hungry? Because they'll be fine later. They fine
Hmm.
later. So please, parents, give your children some space and talk to them like little people. Just talk to them
Yeah.
regular. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't baby them. Talk to them. Ask them what's going on and ask them genuinely how they feel.
So you hit something that was really important. It's one of the things I do during the day. A lot of people don't know is I do train a lot of educators, and one thing we promote, especially with having children with disabilities, children have that sensory overload. They need a sensory break. That is such importance that you give them a space where they can just get there. It's like how you have like putty or Play-Doh, and that you can put it
Yeah.
apart. They need to get their brains to go right back into that form. So they need that space, whether you put fidgets in there or you put calming music or a book or something, but you need to give them an area where they can just say, I need to get my senses back in order. So I think that's for any child. They just need an area. I wouldn't say a time out necessarily all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not a behavior where they're making bad choices, but it could just be a behavior where they're just in an overload and they just don't know what's going on and they just need a moment. So I love that bit of strategy. Like I love that. I love that.
I love it.
Um,
That's something I live by. So, listen, I need my space. They need their space. It's good for all.
Exactly. And sometimes if you both take your space, you come back to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something like today, I'm gonna just say example, my son, my 13-year-old, okay, doing homework with him. Today I looked at him and I felt it going left. I said, okay, buddy, you need to go take a minute and I need to go take 10. Then we're gonna come back
See,
and regroup. And it worked. He needed that moment and then we
you
came
see
back and said,
that?
I'm sorry, and we did it. It worked. So sometimes you need that. So yes, and while I'm on that, if anybody wants it, I have a free worksheet that's on there as a link. Go ahead and download that worksheet. It gives you so many other little pointers on finding out the function of that behavior. Because one thing people always say is, "Oh, my child is bad. My child is bad." But sometimes it's not just a bad behavior. It could be a function to that behavior. They could be hungry. They could be forgotten. They could be tired. It could be so many
So
things.
many things that ties into that one emotion. So
Yes.
think
So
about it.
yes, I like that. So one last thing, can you give one saying, one bit of advice, something that you want to give to a lot of the single parents out there? And I know we are paying homage to single parents today, but also this can be for those parents who have two-parent homes, who have multiple children. It's not just that, but today I wanted to pay a little shout out to my single parents today. But what kind of advice can you give those parents out there? What is the one thing you would want to leave them with today?
Take your time. Everything
Mm,
is time. Take your time.
right.
Do it at your own pace. Do it at their own pace. You
Hmm.
ever see a child when they get out the house, you like put your shoes on, let's hurry and get in the car, but they stop and they stare at every flower, every piece of grass, every water puddle, everything. They stop and they do everything at their pace. So
Mm-hmm.
just like you see that 2-year-old child taking their time, take your time with children. Get to learn children, know your child.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, things get difficult. We always, we go through challenges, and it's not everything's not going to be easy, but do it at your own pace. Take your time and do it. Pray
Mm-hmm.
about it. Sleep on it. Don't always respond in that moment, because responding in the heat of the moment, we may respond wrong. So
Yes.
like I said, take your time. Everyone needs time to do things, and I get more things done if I just take my time and I say, hey, at this moment, we don't need to address it. We'll come back and address it later.
Yes. I had a friend, she actually sent me a message the other day, which I think was just is so spot on. She was like, I'm trying to rush to get us to get these family pictures done. And I hope she don't mind me saying this, but she was like, everything could possibly go wrong went wrong to get these pictures done. She finally just sat down. She's like, I'm grabbing a glass of wine. We just gonna forget about it. We will pick these pictures up another day. Everything does not have to be rush. Sometimes we have to just
Yeah,
stop and say, you know what? It ain't happening today. you
it,
know?
it happens like that because sometimes we want things done on our time, and it's like it's not
Mhm.
your time. It's you don't
Especially
control.
when you have kids, you have to kind
Oh
of
yeah,
go by, especially if you got little ones. As soon as you get ready to go, you think you got it. They done pooped on themselves. Somebody is like, oh, like I remember when my kids were young. That was like the most frustrating thing.
yep. Or getting dressed to get out the house. You're like, how did you get mustard in your shirt? Where was the
And you
mustard
gotta go
in
change.
your
Yeah.
shirt? Like, wait, how did this happen? When did it happen? Like, yeah, you gotta change the whole outfit, revamp the whole family picture. I get it,
Yep.
girl. Whoever your friend is,
Hmm.
I get it. Cause
Yeah.
sometimes you just be like,
So it's like we just ain't doing it today. We will
we ain't
schedule that
doing it
thing.
today.
Yeah. So I love that. So even I just like that what you were saying. Definitely, I think the biggest thing I took from this is give children their space. Give them an area where they can just have that moment. And you have to think about a child. Like I work with a lot of children that have disabilities, and you have
Hmm.
to give them a little bit more time to really process things than you do a typical child who develops differently. And so I really like that bit of advice. So you guys hear that? Give your child a little space. You take a little space, and then you guys come back and y'all can do this thing over again. Just
Exactly.
reset.
Exactly.
I
I
love
like
that. Well,
it.
Shad, thank you so much. Like, see, this is why I like the show. It's quick, it's easy. We don't got to take a lot of parents' time. I just thank you for taking time to come out. I appreciate it.
Oh,
And
you're
thank
welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm going to put your information out so they can reach you if they have any other questions. You keep doing what you're doing. To all the single parents out there, adopted parents, grandparents, aunties, godparents, if you are doing it by yourself, with the help of the Lord, of course, I'm proud of you guys. Keep doing it. Keep going. And I thank you so much, Sha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, guys. If you need any more information, you want any more help, you know that I'm Inel with Past Consultants. You guys message me. I can definitely help you. And if you want LaSaundra's information, I will also place it on the live after we're done so you guys can contact her. All right. Thank you guys. Get that free workbook. And you know what? As always, what? You got this. Y'all have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.